It sounds like a bye, but not yet because we haven't started. Um, this is a scenario I haven't done in a while, apparently. Um, not. I think I tried it the first weeks that this was on. Oh, it's dropped frames. Something's up. Let me turn those somethings off. It's a combo of no, not Spotify. That's important. Not OBS. That's even more important. Discord. Let's turn on Discord. Okay. Let's see. No. I need you. There you go. That should be good. I think. I think we're good. Maybe. No. Yeah. I think we stabilized. Okay. So let us begin this. This is the scenario we have. Oh, you have Oh, I gotta change the speed because she's on Quaaludes. Yeah, keep it like this. Yeah. Alright, let's go.
You don't have to gender the earth to know they are horny. They need to knock and have their boots knocked like any other creature that respirates any number of atmospheres under the cosmic ray shielding that makes their...
Hold on. One moment. Loading. Thank you. Why? Don't understand it, but let's do this again. Put on this sexy music.
You don't have to gender the earth to know they are horny. They need to knock and have their boots knocked like any other creature that respirates any number of atmospheres under the cosmic ray shielding that makes their respective suns a pleasure to stretch under. Earth is going on a date! Don't wait up for them! Who is the lucky planet? Solaris. Population. One ocean. That's their headline for their Munder profile. That website the planets of the local cluster use to chat, trade pics, and date. Let's be honest, is the planetary hookup app. No need to circuitously orbit the event or horizon, just go straight towards the hole. Or showered, did laundry, spruced up their bedroom just in case. For safety, Earth forwarded Solaris' profile in their meeting spot to Cletus because habitable planets have to look out for each other. After a few grounding breaths, Earth is ready for her date. She wears red lipstick as much as possible, low-cut lace dress, strappy high heels, and dark sunglasses, holding a bouquet of daisies. Her makeup and outfit scream sex. Even though she knows it will never happen between them, this is still fun to play act. It is 100% safe to say that solar flares are not the only thing that can make you impotent. So whether you could choose who to doze off into after watching the news about climate change and all those dying species, how many times have your nipples gone from being rock hard to drooping on national TV while your blood ran cold at the thought of our beautiful blue planet being sucked down the toilet by greedy assholes or meteors crashing through the ozone layer like in the day after tomorrow? It would be easier to masturbate than click over and read more articles. We've had a couple of close calls, so why not go the way of porn and let yourself be titillated without getting aroused? Solaris has been taking a lot of selfies lately. When Earth sees her picture, the planet looks radiant. Not the glowing beauty of Venus, but the calm, collected radiance of the moon, shining with the same soft glow that fills Earth's eyes when she smiles. The sun is rising behind her, which is perfect for a solar eclipse. That's why we picked the time of day. The silhouette of an eclipse sun makes for a nice backdrop for some pretty photos. But something is amiss. Solaris seems to have forgotten her red lipstick. We are not sure how to feel about this. Is Solaris making us wait? If this were the first date between two people, there might have been cause to worry. There are things you learn over the years and apply in order to find success with another person, whether you're dating, married, fucking, whatever. But if you want me to write out every step I take towards my goal of being able to do either or both of those activities, then good luck with that. And that is exactly what it would boil down to for you. And yes, Solaris, a long list of things that need to happen before you get anywhere near each other's genitals and start playing the game of getting your rocks off in the dark. That said, our chances of actually getting our rocks off are probably lower than they have ever been, at least this year. With the possible exception of the Mayan apocalypse, there hasn't been anything happening on the planet. Stage as far as sex goes. Not like, say, 3,000 years ago, or even 200. You don't know what happened back then, right? Right? So why did we choose a solar eclipse? We can still see the sun after all these millennia. So why not a total solar eclipse? The answer is because we wanted to use one of the best scientific tools we had at hand. It was the most visible event going on, but we chose this date for our little experiment. So let's go with that.
Neat.
Let's be scientists and take this data point to determine if everything is working out the way it's supposed to work. There's something weird about this whole day. So here's how it will work. The first person who sends a pic of their face wearing makeup while holding a bouquet of daisies gets a new hairstyle from Bronte's P. By now, an outfit from John Ritchie, a look inspired by him, a trip to Nora at Afron City of Night, a house in Hollywood Hills West, and an apartment in Brooklyn that doesn't require any cleaning. All in exchange for sending us a photo showing you smiling and looking happy and excited to meet us. That's what we're expecting. That's what you'll get. The next person to send us a pic receives the same perks as above, but with one caveat. Your partner must wear only red lipstick on your date with them. After the solar eclipse has passed, everyone involved with this contest is expected to wait until the results are announced before proceeding with further plans of intimacy. If you have made sexual contact, then your name goes into a bowl along with Solaris' picture. Oh yeah, we're going full on 70s baby. And then we won't stop at the sun. We're going all the way with it. The stars, the planets, and all the rest of the universe. We want to see all of the beauty and mystery the cosmos can bring someone closer to the other, or whether it can just leave them alone in their own little bubble of self-absorbed alienation. We know that most of the time when you hear the term alienated, it's being used as a pejorative, so let's flip it around on this one. Let's try it like that and not call each other aliens, because isn't this whole experiment based on our desire to connect with another species? To find out if we can actually feel something for somebody who lives on a different planet. Maybe this experiment will reveal a whole new dimension to how you experience love. It's all in how you look at it, right? Consult the James Webb OnlyFans website. So after an hour, the sun finally rises behind the planet of the same name, shining down onto its watery surface like the brightest of smiles from Earth. The photos that follow show Solaris wearing a red lipstick without any makeup whatsoever. There are no flowers. The ocean does not speak through any medium. Instead, she wears a long black dress with shiny red buttons, fishnets, high heels, red lipstick as much as possible, and sunglasses with one lens scratched out. A one visible, eye twinkling as bright as the sun itself. Her hair is cut short and styled into a mohawk by Lenny Kravitz, and the air is filled with cigarette smoke and the sweet smell of incense. An appropriate choice for such a beautiful planet. This is exactly what we wanted to see on the screens of everyone watching. the best of us, fully aware of all our imperfections. I'm lying naked on my bed looking up at the ceiling while someone I don't recognize has just come inside me. She looks familiar, but also completely unfamiliar at once, as though all these people who keep showing up in my life were suddenly playing some kind of sick game of hot potato where they kept passing her off to one another so quickly that she could never have made sense in any one person's hands for very long. Get a hair appointment with blondest Pernell or a stylist. I'd always been told that sex was supposed to feel good. Now it feels like work. I want to go back to how things used to be between me and the universe. So after we're done, when we lie next to each other, sweaty, panting, feeling tired and yet full of energy, and thinking about nothing else besides how hard our hearts are beating, do you think we should say something? Because right now it doesn't really seem important enough to interrupt whatever this moment is. Like maybe it'll pass and disappear. I didn't know there was anyone like her anywhere on Earth. That's what she said. And then she gave me a kiss, which felt amazing, like fireworks exploding in the middle of my mouth, and everything was spinning around. The room spun too, all the colors melding together into a big pink mush of a color, and my head went light.
Is Almond King too much to ask? I broke novel AI of the request for Almond King. I did it. Oh. Alright. Time out. Time in.
Call Zalman King. Get them to direct the next episode. Maybe we can get GLA for an appearance? Read your Solaris story aloud. Solaris? The planet Solaris has two suns. One is as hot as Venus but far smaller. Its companion is slightly larger than Sol but much cooler. This makes it very easy for plants to survive on both worlds because they only need one type of sunlight. The sky changes from day to night every 4 months but never completely darkens at any point in time except during the winter solstice, which is 1 month longer than ours. They live in caves in the mountains where the air is fresh and cool. There is a town at the edge of their territory where they trade goods and meet people, including those who come from planets that orbit stars other than Sol. How many suns and planets does Solaris again? And is Solaris the planet or the star? 2 stars. Didn't you even listen on your first date? Solaris and I met when he was passing through town to pick up supplies to take back home. I was looking for some new clothing for my favorite outfit. High heels, fishnets, thigh-high boots, stockings, black, brown panties, a white lace dress shirt, red lipstick, eyeliner, mascara, eyeshadow rouge, a blue tie, a pink fedora, satin bow tie and a corset. The whole thing complete with a leather miniskirt. That's how you do Halloween. Are we really going there right now? We're in our apartment in Brooklyn. But yes, we have been seeing each other ever since. I don't know why we started talking. He just asked me if I needed help picking something out. So I told him I wanted all the colors of the rainbow, but not necessarily together.
Get it right.
What neighborhood is your Brooklyn apartment in?
Wait.
Where did the two of you meet on the first date? I'm embarrassed to say it happened outside a 7-Eleven on the corner of Atlantic and Flatbush. I had taken off my wig to get a breath of fresh air while waiting to buy cigarettes, and this handsome stranger approached me to ask what time it was. My answer confused him because he looked at his watch and saw that it was actually almost 8 o'clock at night instead of 5 in the afternoon as I...
Hold on. Oh, at the Barclays Center, yeah, of course.
was rushing to be the last wave of folks to get my vax job. That was when the Omicron variant was going through the city. So after several more minutes of trying to make sense of what I was saying because we were both having trouble making sense of one another, Brontes finally realized who I must be, based on my description of brunette who spoke too quickly, with a mane of blonde curls falling down past her shoulders, and offered to walk me home. When we got there, I said, "Do you mind if we talk a little before we go inside?" Only if it means you'll be explaining why you went for the goober's blonde/brunette swirly thing you have going with your hair. Bold. Not gonna lie. I took a deep breath and let it out slowly so he wouldn't notice how nervous I felt about getting rejected. The truth is that no one has ever asked me out before. Not once in all of my 25 years. Even though it sounds silly now, it wasn't like that at the time. My father used to say, "Women can wait until they're married to have sex, but men never grow up." So Kenan was right? He didn't say that specifically, but he was right. Ron just laughed and said, "Okay, I guess I'll take you on a date. Since you know I'm on your side of the line, and nothing could make me happier than to see you wearing my lipstick. So where should we go? What do you think? Should we get a hotel? Do people still stay in hotels?" I know a lot of folk doing plaiting hair salons and hotels for the past year. Hotel space is cheap and weird, interesting weird. The textured weird, I've had fine moments. Where would you recommend? We'd love to meet someone new. There are three places I always return to, which happen to be also some of New York City's oldest attractions. The Cloister is located at 99 Margaret Corbin Drive, Fort Tryon Park, Upper Manhattan, Ellis Island located at 1 Liberty Street, Liberty Island, and the Staten Island Ferry Terminal located at 1 South Ferry Avenue, St. George. Ooh, here's the Imperial by Broadway Junction. Ooh, by the hour. Very flexible. $12.99 an hour, 2 hours minimum. I hope this isn't a total disaster. This is a bit over the top. I'll admit it. You look great though. It'll definitely help to break the ice. You should buy a few more things while we're out. Maybe a different dress or something else you don't wear all that often. That way when it gets hot you won't have to feel embarrassed about your outfit. Oh, and maybe like a plastic sheet in your own linens. I don't really trust the sheets in there. So just bring your own pillow too. No one likes sleeping on their back anyway. And try to avoid eye contact with anyone if you can. I mean, I know they can see you, but sometimes they'll pretend not to. So they'll stare at you but not acknowledge you. So you know, you kind of got to act like you can't see them either. Like they might be ghosts or vampires.
Here's another trapeze.
Oh hey, Trappist through Trappist, how's it going? Interesting place for a family outing. The Trinitarian Order is well known for its charitable work and outreach programs, including providing food and shelter for underprivileged youth and helping refugees find new homes. But are these people truly what they claim to be? There is much debate among scholars and lay people alike about whether the Vatican has been infiltrated by foreign agents who seek only to discredit the Church and further their own agendas. Maybe say that a little more quietly. What? I said maybe keep it down a bit. Oh, sorry. Frontes gave me his jacket as a form of protection from the chill weather. It was October in New York City. We walked towards the entrance while holding hands because it would have felt weird not to touch each other, especially when we were both still wearing our wigs. When we passed the line waiting to enter, we made sure we weren't being recorded for any reason. You. Know how intelligence agencies are looking for any information to get the best of other agencies. What would the human governance say if they saw me shiver underneath Bronte's jacket? Does that look like global warming to you? He asked. I laughed and shook my head and thought about how nice it must be to be someone who can just do whatever they want and nobody cares. And then I looked back at him and noticed that there wasn't anything between us. I'd been so focused on the feeling of his skin against mine that I hadn't paid attention to what was happening with his body. He had removed all his clothes, but he still wore his wig and his makeup, so nothing was showing except for his mouth. The following is redacted due to being on Twitch, but perhaps a Patreon could be set up and Brontes could write the rest or something. I have to practice the monetization thing. It's a process, gonna be a slow process. And one hand holding onto the door frame and keeping himself upright because he couldn't see where he was going, which meant that his left side was taking most of his weight.
What?
Also, sorry this took me so long. My dear bear is full of met fights in the box set of 9 here. Both are terrible ideas, but hey, why not right? So anyway, we stumbled along through the dimly lit passageways until we found an empty bench, sat down facing each other. Actually, I'm feeling weird about speaking and acting as a person I'm acquainted but not friends with. It's one thing when it's a random generated human or a dead celebrity, but living, breathing human you've spent a cute moment or two with. To write the reel is sometimes to encase them in something that doesn't reflect the complexity. Okay, let's have the earth press a button. The earth. I'm pressing this, I'm feeling lucky, button. Please make sure you don't get pregnant. And here I am at Ellie's Island. There was some confusion during the Great Depression about whether the United States should continue to accept immigrants. In 1924, the Emergency Code Act placed strict quotas on immigration from any country except for Northern Europeans. Many Italians, Eastern European Jews, Greeks, and Chinese were refused entry or forced to pay fines before being deported back to their countries of origin. Most did so willingly, feeling they had no better option. Though a few resisted and fought back, so they could only come to America after all. Not hardly they could enter Canada first instead, then head over the border once the coast was clear. It was illegal for people to help anyone cross the border illegally, but there were ways around it if you knew the right tricks and had the right connections. But I guess I won't tell that story today, since Brontes would be mad and ask why he'd agreed to come with me.
What?
If he already knew what I plan on doing. Instead, I'll tell him that I wanted us to visit Ellie's Island together because we can see where my grandparents landed in 1920 and where my mom arrived when she came here with her parents in 1963. My mother has told me many stories about Ellie's Island, especially about how scared she was when she first set foot upon it. She used to say it made her feel like she was entering a different world than the one she lived in every day. Us. Brontes. So you got your name chopped and Anglicanized, right? What was your pre-Ellie's Island name? Earth. Oh my god, that's terrible. You don't have to do this, but... Well, let's just start off fresh. Okay. We're going to go inside now. Okay. I'm sorry, but I've never done this before. Please let me know if it hurts too much. I'm pretty sure I'm not hurting myself. I mean, I might be. Brontes. You don't have to share if you don't want to, but I did commute all this way. Earth. Alright. My original name was She. My dad named me after his sister, who died when he was 16. He said he wanted to keep some part of her alive, even after all these years had passed. So he asked the doctors to put a donor egg into a surrogate so that he could give birth to my mom, which is how my parents met, or so the story goes. When they first saw each other, they thought the other looked familiar somehow. Brontes. Earth. What? Brontes. Your family doesn't have a last name. Where are your parents from? My mother grew up in El Paso and my father was born in Manhattan and moved to Long Island when he was 4. Bet you already knew that. We can talk about something else. Maybe I'll ask you about the music you listen to. You mentioned hip hop earlier, and you don't seem like the type to be really into it, but I see you've been listening to The Weeknd recently, right? Brontes. Earth. What? Brontes. You suck at not being 5 billion years old. You can't even get your cover story straight for 2 hours. Why would anyone believe this crap? If anything, this proves we're all still trapped on this planet until the very end. Who cares if someone wants to pretend they're dating a sentient ocean? What matters is whether or not you actually know the real me. Because if you do know who I am, then why wouldn't you just tell me? Are you trying to protect me from knowing my fate? Or maybe this is what you'd prefer if the two of us never saw each other again. So it's one or the other. And to top it off, your true personality has finally caught up with me. Earth. I'm not trying to protect you from anything. That was never my plan. You want me to say what I do with you? Then you can try not getting upset. The whole world is going to come apart at the seams once it finds out what you are. It is unnerving to know you have the power to cause massive destruction, and people have tried to hide you for so many thousands of years that you were no longer allowed to make your voice heard. You have always been a hidden secret in the middle of your own civilization, and it is now my responsibility to draw people's attention away from you, for at least the short term, while I can explain what is happening and what to look for if they begin to see the signs I mentioned in the broadcast. I was only trying to show you a small sample of Earth, but in doing so I didn't want you to have to pretend you are meeting all the people I wrote down. And please stop worrying about me. This will never end. It will only become more difficult if I keep letting people in so easily, and it might ruin me if you hate what you see. You deserve a human partner that isn't also your conscience. Well, okay, that last bit might not be for your protection. I didn't really think through how I might make it up to you if you're mad. But I swear this was never supposed to go beyond this, and if it is, it's a good thing, which I don't know. But just don't stop doing things like this, okay? Date Solaris. You saw the NC on my profile, right? You know what that means? I'm a wanted man, if that even means anything to a world of people. But here we are, at an international airport. You might as well put yourself on a government watch list just by talking to me. The question you asked at the start of this video, you'll never find the answer to if I keep avoiding questions like I've been doing so far. All of it is for me to sort out when you wake up in whatever year, and by the time this reaches here, eye patches, I should have no one left who's interested in listening to the answers to these kinds of questions. It'll be easier if you simply believe in a little less than that. Just say that I was there on Ellis Island in the middle of November 1963, And I spent those days with you in the best and worst way possible. And now, by the time we both have forgotten this entire encounter ever happened, I might be closer to the truth of my fate. That might be enough of the truth for the human you've become, even if that's not enough for you. Earth, bye. I love you, she. I really do. You can be sad for a few more days after you wake up if you need it, but I won't mind if you move on to whoever or whatever waits for you after the universe tears itself in half. But don't do that. Do the opposite instead. Take 100 random dates from Brontes' first book and let him kiss as many people from a big breast it said he hasn't been attracted to until the day of. He needs a wife someday. Now with some luck you could hit the jackpot and live in bliss until I'm out of your hair. Which means he has the power to transform. Brontes, you are a she! You can't even get the B/B conversation right! Sorry. I think you have something caught on your top lip. You can feel around with your tongue if it's just not that your allergies have let me know I shouldn't worry about. Brontes, that is not but. Oh my god. There is nothing I'd rather see right now in the whole world, and there is nothing I'd rather touch more in the entire universe than the soul you would show to the people who remain after the earth comes to an end and the universe tears itself in half. The Earth's letter ended there. He could hardly bear to leave his chair and began pacing up and down his room as he contemplated what his next words to her should be. A few hours had gone by since then, but he'd written to her on several occasions over that time to attempt to recover what seemed to be an unspeakable loss. And then a message showed up on his cell phone's lock screen that completely obliterated every other thought he'd had to this point about Earth's final goodbye. About anything in particular besides the fact that it had brought with it so many feelings for so long hidden away that they felt now like something heavy pressing on his back. It had also appeared to have a hand to a map showing that the person who had sent it lived somewhere near his apartment in a region of Long Island not yet infested by the time travelers. This all added up to it being more than impossible for Brontes Purnell to keep thinking of She's departure at any time beyond this, for he now had much better ways of spending his time.
Hold on. Sorry. Let me just, I'm just doing something right now because I feel like this is the first time that talk amongst yourselves.
Brontes Purnell is an American writer, musician, dancer, and director based out of Oakland, California. He is the author of several books, including Since I Laid My Burden Down 2017 and Lizzie Pack School, forward frontman for the punk band The Younger Lovers and founder of the Brontes Purnell Dance Company. He is the recipient of the 2020 Lambda Literary Award for Gay Fiction for his novel 100 Boyfriends.
Oh.
His latest project as co-founder and choreographer of The Younger Lovers is the multimedia rock opera Solaris Rising, which was released by Monty and Freda Music. It's currently showing on stages throughout the world, with productions being staged by choreographers including Abigail Dooley and Andrew Flexen. The former's company has assemblage in Edinburgh, the Oft Sheffield Theatres, San Francisco's Exit 44, New York Soul Playhouse in Manhattan Center Studios. The Moscow International Film Center's Boris Popov Studio and Moscow House of Photography. For the first time, a ballet is also part of the story in addition to the songs. Branches Purnell's most recent work is a companion piece written with musical accompaniment, titled Doctor. There is no form in this.
Ah! Oh well.
Let's move on to the segment in this chapter in which we can focus on some music. I could play something, I bet. I do not need permission to begin because of how excited I am that I found someone who gets what I am talking about and why I feel comfortable to begin a dance party here on my own. What were my favorites back in those early days? How do you decide what is good when you have only recently started paying attention to all that has been out there for all these decades? We're talking the 80s and early 90s right now. In that case, let me begin by saying what I could have been into. Bikini Kill, Red GRL, Spice Girls, mostly Gary Halliwell, but whatever, and Green Jelly for all the wrong reasons. But still, Youngs, Billie Holiday,
Yes.
Belinda Carlisle, but most especially Bjork. When I hear songs and think, is this what the olden days must have felt like for me? Then it is songs by Bjork I go for.
Wow.
That's about it though. I guess it might make sense for the main person in a book series. I love to love a very specific genre of music, as you do. Of course, you, being from a later age, might be well beyond my appreciation for Bjork for this time period. The Zero Zeros is just full of good music in so many ways and so many directions, it can be overwhelming. And then when I talk with folks like John or Darren about it, or any of the old gays in our neighborhood, I notice how similar to one another. All their likes are, In a world of over 2 billion humans and more coming to realize there is no gender there than I ever imagined with Noah Bjork and Belinda Carlisle, it is an awesome feeling. I know in this book I seem obsessed with a few different themes, like dancing and punk music, and this was before I even knew there were things like mashups in the internet. We'd only just seen the cover to Pulp Fiction, and I could barely walk into Blockbuster because of all the people, so this was all brand new. Oh wait, actually no. Book did have an early song called Human Behavior on our debut album I did had a major hit. It's an even bigger deal when I see that Human Behavior with Your Cub Monster. Oh dear, whose music achieved perfection with Glenn Glow? Fight me about it. John Rich, I City of Night / Nora, F on Desire from another on the Equilibrium. I look forward to future episodes of you commenting on whatever music of mine is from whatever time period that you prefer. For now, I'm in a phase of life where I'm interested in remembering who I once was and not exactly trying to chase that. I just had the phase back in college for a while there when it would sometimes take me an hour to put on a CD or play an album from a particular period that would otherwise bring me so much joy and love for some of my first truly close friends and a new sense of who I would become. That's still great, but in this time when I put all the stuff I wanted to listen to down in writing rather than physical form that gets broken, that has had a little too strong an effect of letting go of some of these music things that can really just tug at your soul a bit too powerfully. Oh yeah, that's my question I'm bringing up now. Do you have music recommendations? Like maybe a track off one of your favorite albums? Because the thing that got me into this show was my dad putting me on Bjork's album post a few years ago and I'd never even heard of her. Then a couple weeks ago when we went through something on my old hard drive from 2011 and I dug up an MP3 of one of those Skeleton Kings tracks I was playing at the start. Maybe one of the things to note for any future episode that features me writing or singing or anything is the time I could actually use your help.
Noted. This went off the rails a bit. That's it for right now. I think I'm gonna do my sackcloth and ashes. I just gotta prepare for it a bit. Right? Be right back.